Currently, I don't own the Capital One Venture X card. Yes, I am talking about that $395 premium travel credit card that gives you positive value every year. Well, for certain people. And I'm not one of those people. At least not yet. See, the Capital One Venture X card doesn't quite work with my situation, and I want to share this with you because you might be in the same situation as well. I know this card gets a lot of attention, especially on YouTube, but just like every other credit card, there are people who won't get justifiable value from it. I have made videos about this card in the past, but in this video, I want to specifically go through with you my thought process on the Venture X. Starting with the reward multipliers. I just won't use them. The Capital One Venture X earns you 10x on hotels and rent-a-cars booked through Capital One Travel, 5x on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x on everything else. The big issue with me is that I don't book any travel through travel portals, especially with Capital One. Of course, I don't have any Capital One cards right now, so I don't really have a reason to book with them anyway. But even if I had the Venture X, I still would not book through the Capital One portal, and here's why. The first reason is because when I travel, I don't rent cars. As of lately, whenever I travel, I either use the public transportation there or I just Uber. For example, last month I was in New York. Public transportation. Earlier this year, I was in Vancouver and Las Vegas. I would just walk or Uber. And at the beginning of this year, I was in Japan, where I for sure did not rent a car and just use their public transportation. So since I'm not renting cars, that 10x multiplier is useless to me. But I want to know, for those of you who are renting cars, do you book directly or do you use some sort of travel portal? The other 10x multiplier on the Venture X card is on hotels booked through the portal. And this category is even more useless to me than the one before. The problem here is not that I don't stay at hotels, because let's be real, I'm Team Hotel and probably won't change that anytime soon. If you're Team Hotel as well, give this video a like, or if you're Team Airbnb, comment down below how much you love cleaning up after yourself even though you paid a cleaning fee. Anyway, so if I'm staying at hotels pretty much every time that I travel, why won't I use this 10x multiplier? The simple answer is because I have dedicated hotel credit cards. If I book a hotel stay with those dedicated hotel credit cards, I could earn hotel loyalty points, nights towards status, and use the benefits from those cards. Whereas on the other hand, you usually don't earn hotel points or elite perks when booking hotels through Capital One Travel. To be fair, that's usually the case with other travel portals like with Chase, Expedia, Amex, and so on. I believe the only exception is that if you book a hotel through Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts, you could add your hotel loyalty number and still receive elite nights towards status, benefits, and so on. Personally, I would much rather receive those benefits like free upgrades, free breakfast, and nights towards status as opposed to earning Capital One points. Of course, this isn't the case for everyone. Maybe you don't care about loyalty status with a certain hotel, or maybe you don't even have a hotel credit card. Then in that case, it might make more sense for you to get your 10x points by going through the Capital One travel portal. It will also make more sense to book through the Capital One travel portal if you stay at independent hotels, like for example, Disney hotels. I mostly stay at Hiltons and Marriott's, so that's why I have Hilton and Marriott credit cards and book directly with them. But here's a tip that will save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars the next time you book a hotel. Marriott, Hyatt, and Hilton all offer a price match guarantee. What this means is if you are looking at one of those hotel chains but find a cheaper price elsewhere, they will actually match that price and then give you a discount off of that lower matched price. Of course, the details about your hotel stay have to be exactly the same in order to qualify for this discount. It has to be the same hotel, the same dates, the same type of room, the same amount of guests, and so on. But if all those match up, Hyatt will give you 20% off that lower price, and both Marriott and Hilton will give you 25% off that lower price. This is exactly what I did in January at Hilton Tokyo, and it saved us literally over $1,000. So by booking directly with Hilton, I was able to save money, gain elite night credits, and use diamond status benefits. You can't do that when you book through the Capital One travel portal. However, what you can do through the Capital One portal is earn 5x on flights booked with your Venture X card. And unlike booking a hotel, you usually earn airline miles and elite perks when booking flights through Capital One Travel. But the bad news for the Venture X is that I already earned 5x on flights with my Amex Platinum card. Except with the Platinum card, I earned those 5x points both through the Amex travel portal and if I book directly with the airline airline myself. That's just another L for the Venture X. Although I am absolutely dissing the Capital One travel portal, I do want to shine light on one positive that it has. Capital One has partnered with Hopper to provide their customers with predictive pricing technology, which can help you find the best price out there. This includes having an integrated price prediction and matching tool along with a best price guarantee. You also have a price freeze protection tool that allows you to lock in a price found on the portal for a fee until you're ready to book. Good job to you, Capital One. Those are cool features, but I am still not using your portal quite yet. Then finally, we have the 2x reward multiplier on every purchase. And from what you've seen so far, this reward category is going to be the most useful one for me on this card. The only hiccup though is that I just recently got approved for the Amex Blue Business Plus, which also happens to earn 2x points on every purchase, except that card has no annual fee. Okay, I guess the Venture X has no foreign transaction fees and the Blue Business Plus does. Still, I don't want to pay almost $400 just to earn 2x points when I travel abroad. That's not going to give me enough value. But wait, doesn't the Capital One Venture X give you way more than just its reward multipliers for $400 a year? Yes, and that's exactly what I'm going to go over next. Let's take a look at that $300 annual travel credit first. With this card, you'll receive up to $300 back as statement credits for bookings through Capital One Travel every card member year. That means you could get $300 in value from the Venture X immediately, but only if you book through the Capital One portal. This credit is very similar to the $300 annual travel credit found on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, except with the Sapphire Reserve, that credit can be applied to any travel purchase inside or outside of a travel portal. It even includes other travel related purchases such as parking garage fees, ride shares, toll booths, taxis, public transportation, and so on. Whereas the $300 travel credit on the Venture X is much more restrained. Not only that, but you already know how I feel about booking through the Capital One portal. I don't want to have to force myself to use this credit every year just to try and offset the annual fee. Of course, this is a completely different story if you are someone who doesn't mind booking through travel portals, especially with Capital One. Another annual credit that comes with the Venture X is the anniversary miles bonus. Every card member year, you will automatically receive 10,000 Capital One miles. The good thing is that these miles are just as valuable as the miles you earn normally from putting spend on your card. These 10,000 miles are worth $100 when you use them to book travel through the Capital One portal. And no, I'm not going to bring up my thoughts on the Capital One portal again. But I will say that if you do use the portal, then this credit along with the $300 annual travel credit will easily justify the $400 annual fee for the Venture X. Technically, $395 annual fee. Of course, this means you have to travel and use those benefits every year, but as long as you do that, everything else on this card is just free added value. However, if I had the Venture X, I would use these 10,000 anniversary miles differently. Instead, with all of my Capital One miles, including the ones from the anniversary bonus, I would transfer them to a travel partner. Some of Capital One's travel partners include Emirates, British Airways, Singapore, Virgin, and more. By transferring my points to a travel partner, ideally I would be receiving more than just 1 cent per point in value. That means those 10,000 anniversary miles would hopefully be worth more than just $100, but it's still not enough for me to justify the annual fee. Before moving on to the last reasons why I don't own the Venture X, I want to briefly go over the welcome bonus offer because that would probably be the biggest appeal to me. Currently, Capital One is offering 75,000 bonus miles after spending $4,000 on purchases within the first 3 months from account opening. That would equal to at least $750 worth of value to me, which will more than cover the first year's annual fee on this card. And if I really wanted to, I would cancel the card after having it for just 1 year so that I don't have to use its benefits to start justifying the fee for year 2 and onward. However, if I really wanted to use the Venture X just for the welcome bonus, I would wait for another elevated offer to show up. It would be nice to have something similar to the first offer that came with the release of this card. Back then, you could receive 100,000 Capital One miles and a $200 vacation rental credit. Of course, that would mean I'd have to stay at an Airbnb, in which case half of that rental credit will go towards the cleaning fee. Although I would receive positive value after 1 year from just opening and closing a Venture X account, I still would not do it. Personally, I value my relationship with these banks and I don't want to be on their bad side. And I know just using them for a welcome bonus is a one-way ticket to a bank's naughty list. Speaking of bad things, let me explain the final reason why I don't have the Capital One Venture X card. I already covered the main benefits and credits that come with this card, but there are still a few more to talk about. For example, Capital One provides you with global entry or TSA pre-check credit every 4 years. Unfortunately, this is not the only travel credit card that offers this type of credit. This is another useless credit for me because my Amex Platinum card and like one or maybe two of my other credit cards already have this credit. And unless I'm like Jason Bourne and need multiple passports and identification, I will never use more than one global entry credit. The Venture X also provides a complimentary Priority Pass and Plaza Premium membership for airport lounge access. Again, this is the same thing that I have on my Amex Platinum card, and so many overlapping benefits that I can't use are a bad thing. As far as lounge access goes, the Venture X does have one advantage over the Platinum card though. I would receive access to Capital One lounges. All one of them. Sure, Capital One has plans to opening 2 more in the near future, but it still doesn't compete with the amount of Amex Centurion lounges found worldwide. Yes, those Capital One lounges could be valuable for some people, but I don't go to those airports frequently enough for it to make a large difference for me. Another good thing about the Venture X is that you could add up to 4 authorized users for free. This comes in handy because each cardholder can bring in 2 guests to an airport lounge. So if you regularly travel with more than 3 people, then you could add an authorized user and bring in more guests for free. It's especially useful for a family, which I don't have, so I won't use this to my advantage. Other small benefits that come with the Venture X are the cell phone protection and primary car rental damage waiver. But I use Apple Care for my iPhones, and again, I don't rent cars, so both would be pretty worthless for me. I know this video was kind of me ranting about the Capital One Venture X, but it's still a popular card and a valuable card for the right user. As you just witnessed, I am not a great user for this card just yet. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Let me know what your thoughts are about this card. I would also recommend watching this video here where I compare the 3 most popular premium travel credit cards. Who knows, the Sapphire Reserve or Amex Platinum may be a better fit for you over the Venture X. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoots.